are now tuned in to my main man Dubs. If you want that garbage, go somewhere else. If you want that music that matters, he came to the right spot. Hey Dub, talk to him.
This is not for the retarded. Ever since the beat started, the flow switched up from...
There was some great video of you all celebrating in the dressing room afterwards, but it was interesting at one point, at the end of it, I think you said, "Don't give me any water, I swear they're trying to drug me."
Yeah.
Could you expand a little bit on that?
I can expand a little bit on it. We know that cheats, right? These people are extremely good at cheating. So they tried it with the gloves first, and they even gave me the wrong gloves in the end as well. They wasn't the gloves that I opted for. They were other gloves. So I wasn't happy, but I thought I can't be making any more like commotion, so I'll just take them. So that was the gloves. Then they put 6-inch thick of memory foam all over the ring. Then Peter sussed that out in about 2 seconds. Big arguments. The fight was nearly off and on and off and on. So they had to sort it. And then he had his bandages on and his wraps on before we even come into the changing room. So he had to take them off. The weigh-in. The weight. They said I was 17 stone 8 on the scales when I was 18 stone 4. He had platforms in his boots, all psychological things. Because if you look at the weigh-in, he was the same size as me at the weigh-in. But in reality, he's 6'5" and I'm 6'9". So there's a massive gap, and we saw that when we was in the ring last night. The bigger man was much me, but at the weigh-in, when we both stood with our shoes on, he was equally as tall as me. So there was that as well. There was all these little things that they thought might affect fighters in the past, might work against me, but not one of them did. It didn't faze me one bit. 50-odd thousand people didn't faze me 1%. I've got one little saying: if God is with me, who can be against me?
Those are the words of Tyson the Gypsy King Fury, and he said a handful, and he said this, and this clears up so many different things. This is over 5 years ago, okay? And at the very beginning, he stated why he refused the water, okay? He refused the water because he did not know where the source or the origin of the water came from. Therefore, he refused it. Okay, that was 2015. Now, back channel or backstory. You have a lot of these channels that are reaching for certain information on why Tyson Fury didn't want to accept the water. Well, you have one 5 years ago. And these are the same channels that like to go back 5 years ago to bring up certain things about Tyson Fury that happened 5 years ago to make him look like a guilty man in 2020. Okay. Now, the thing is, if he was guilty in 2020 or not, it's the saddest ass thing you could ever do is bring up something from 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying? But this is a video, okay, by IFL TV over 5 years ago that Tyson Fury specifically said, hey, I did not want the water because I felt I was being cheated. I felt these guys were cheating me and I don't trust them. They've tried all types of things, as you heard Tyson Fury in his colorful way express, that they tried all types of things trying to cheat me. Okay. And, you know, things with the gloves, the wraps. Now, the wraps were very, very understandable with they came into the dressing room and Vlad was already wrapping his wraps up himself. And they were like, okay, what the hell? You know what I mean? That's unacceptable for any corner. Okay. No one would agree to that. So they had to make him rewrap them or there was going to be no fight. Now, you let Tyson Fury done some shit like that in the second or the first fight with Deontay Wilder, and there wouldn't have been no fight, but obviously so, right? Reasonably so, because you have to see what's going on. Are they wrapping them legal? Are they wrapping them illegal? Are they putting shit in the gloves? Are they tampering with it in some certain other ways? What are they doing? See, those are things you want to know, and you want to assure the other side that you're doing the right thing and you're on an even playing field. Now, if that would have happened to Deontay Wilder, I would have rode with Wilder, no doubt about it, because no one does that. Okay? But that wasn't even the case. JD's was there the whole time. In fact, both fights he was there watching the wraps and the gloves get put on. But back to this that had nothing to do with Deontay Wilder, mind you. Tyson Fury was aware, and by experience, he knows, don't drink certain water from certain origin because you don't know what the hell's in it. You don't know who could have put something in it, spiked something in it. And not saying that is an ongoing thing, but if Tyson Fury refused it, obviously he's heard something about something that happened with spiked water. And here's the thing, if he didn't take the spiked water, and if he would have drank something, when Andy Lee handed him that water, that was the big uproar. That was another point that they tried to make. Hey, you know what? Tyson Fury refused water from his own cousin. Andy Lee is his cousin, also, you know, a part of his corner. And he asked him, they had a brief little talk, a little chat. And he asked him, where does water come from? And he sent it back. However, Tyson Fury was drinking water moments after. So it wouldn't affect that he didn't trust any water. He just didn't trust where that water of wherever he heard came from. Okay, now you can twist and bend that in either way, but you can't say that's the first time he ever done that, because it clearly shows right here he did not want to drink the water from whoever because he didn't know where it came from unless it came from them. Okay, so that's that. So that proves that Tyson Fury, he has that type of paranoia when it comes to that. But for shits and giggles, let's say if he did drink the water and it was spiked or whatever, maybe there was some spiked water going on. Let's just say that for shits and giggles again. Well, what would have happened if he drank the water? It could have had some type of chemical, drug, substance in the water. Since we're already going to conclusions and, like crazy accusations, if we're doing that, okay, well, if he had some kind of paranoia or doubt about the water, that doesn't mean he put shit in the water. Just doesn't mean like it meant he didn't put shit in the water then. He just didn't want to drink the water because he didn't know where it came from. Bottom line, counterpunch. Okay? So you can't say this was the first time he ever done that as a professional. And then that was with Klitschko, mind you. On top of all the other little stuff that Klitschko was doing with the hand wraps and the other stuff, which was very petty, actually. They should have kept that, honestly. Team Fury. But, he was just adding it on thick of the things that they were trying on the A side. But understand, that was the A side, and they did certain things because they were dominant. Okay, they had the money. They had the lion's share of the money. They were that was the king of the heavyweight division at the time. So, of course, he got away with certain things. But back to the water, Tyson Fury has that paranoia. He has the experience of not drinking anybody's water. So at the end of the day, Tyson Fury refusing, just because he refused water, doesn't mean it was the first time he done that. And again, this is the same shit that they try to throw you with the alphabet channels that, hey, he didn't accept it from his own cousin because he knew it was spiked. No, he just don't taste and drink water from any old person or any old source. Okay? Because it comes with an unknown origin. And if it had something in it, what would the first thing if it had some chemicals in it, they would have said Tyson Fury was cheating like that. If you really think about it, who was the first person that accused Tyson Fury of having performance-enhancing drugs? The Wilder channels. Because they were sure that he couldn't have beat Deontay Wilder fair and square. So that was the very first thing they came up with. The very first thing they came up with, which, you know what? Tyson Fury couldn't have won this fair and square. So it's going to come out and will be revealed that he will test positive. All that type of shit came out. But none of that happened. But that's why he didn't want to taste the water, because maybe he was afraid of that type of thing happening to him. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Tyson Fury in this interview. I will leave this link below, this 5-year-old link below. Let you guys check it out. Leave your comment below. Please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.